A critical move order starts after queen to b3. This is a very tempting move, again attacking b7, and this was the course of the game Lazarev versus Vallejo Ponce, Villa Robledo, 2001. But now I think black is about to give white a shock here, because he plays b5, and white thinks he's getting the advantage after a4. Well, now it turns out that that black can play the move b4 here, which is a very interesting and unusual pawn sacrifice. Now, before we see what happens when white takes the pawn, let's just examine other moves. If white gets cowardly and suspicious and moves his knight, this is probably more sensible, by the way. Well, after knight e2, firstly, I mean, you have to make the point it's going to take white quite a bit of time to get his pieces together. Black uses that time simply developing. So bishop comes back, knight comes out, and the other bishop. Simple, effective Slav development. Knight a2 is a more concrete move, but against that, once again, I think just knight c6, bishop d2, e6. Nothing fancy, just bringing out the pieces, and then again, black has achieved a perfectly sensible position. In fact, the pawn on b4 might well give him slightly the better chances on the queen side. So, to cut a long story short, after b4, let's see what happens when white takes. Okay, knight c6. And already white's got a problem to solve in this position. Many players will just play queen b3 here, not suspecting anything. But after rook b8, queen d1, knight b4, white is already in a lot of trouble in view of the threat of knight c2 check. So, having said A, one has to say B, and queen c5 would appear to be the right move for white, attacking the knight at c6 after all. But then comes knight a5, threatening a ruinous fork on b3. Well, with the following moves. If bishop takes a6 in this position, rook takes a6, queen b5 check, rook c6, knight e5, I think black can just about get away with bishop d7. And after knight takes d7, knight takes d7, knight takes d5, white's garnering a lot of pawns, but black is escaping with his pieces. And after bishop d2, knight c4, the position is simply unclear.